inspirational sounds for you today here during Black Music Month, courtesy of the Little Louis Vega live ensemble called Elements of Life from their double album titled Eclipse. That song is called Most Beautiful. Want to put some inspirational sounds on your heart, especially as we welcome our next guest of today's program, our weekly correspondent, Lacey Clark. Good morning, my dear.
Great morning, Stephanie. You know, you always know how to throw that music on. I love Louis Vega. I love him.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that. It's really an amazing project, too. So if you haven't had a chance to pick that one up, I highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm. Great morning to you.
Indeed. Back at you. So what are we meditating on today, dear?
We're meditating on bullying and mean girls.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. I think the segment was definitely, first of all, I did a conference yesterday at the school district. It was about, how we can be about peace in our communities. And, of course, I spoke on girl bullying. But I was inspired, really, to talk about it today on the show because two experiences. One is a show called Catfish on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
And the show on Catfish was really about this girl who created this fake profile to taunt another girl because she wanted to get back at her for trying to talk to her boyfriend. So what she did was she kind of created this whole persona, chatted with her through Facebook, had a fake picture, and the girl ended up falling in love with this fake profile. And when they finally met on Catfish, we found out it was a girl, and she was really, the girl who actually got, the victim, was really hurt, and the other girl was just laughing, like, oh, that's what she get. It was just really heartbreaking to see the venom.
Mm.
That this young woman had for this other woman. And then I was eating lunch in a public place one day, and I saw these young women walk by, and this one girl walked by this group of girls. And I saw one of the girls in the group look back at the other girl like, who the hell she thinks she is? I'm sorry, I don't know if we can curse on this.
Yeah, no, the hell is fine.
It was really deep. I was like, wow. And she didn't even do anything. She just walked by. Just, again, the contempt and the venom. And I wanted to really talk about that because I think that it goes on too much. And I think that our parents and the community can really support in helping to alleviate this issue.
And, and I'm glad that you say that because there is, you spoke about Catfish, which is the show on MTV. Mm-hmm. And we talk very often about the negative influence or impact of mass media. Mm-hmm. And the idea that so many of our young people are in their rooms or by themselves in a room absorbing all these messages.
Absolutely.
And parents are largely unaware of all the different messaging and imagery that their children are absorbing on a regular basis and aren't helping them to dissect the meaning of this stuff.
Absolutely. I think, one of the reasons why I created the whole Phenomenally You brand was to really, have us focus on how reality television affects our young women and teen girls. And reality TV, specifically female-centered reality TV shows, model that on a consistent basis.
Right.
Every show you see that has to do with women, the Housewives series, any wives, any Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
These women, in some way gossiping, verbally abusing, emotionally abusing, each other. And it's just like madness and mayhem. And so, again, like I said, the Phenomenally You program was created specifically for that. And I think that we need to really get clear about what bullying is, because I think sometimes we may not recognize it, even though it may be happening right under our nose. And I think that bullying is different for boys than it is for girls. And so,
talk about that a little bit, because I think that is a really a profound thing to see. I think most people, when we hear bullying, we think about some of the cartoon images that we've been fed over the years about some really big, beefy kid that's picking on a really small, scrawny kid. Right. And that's not the way that's being practiced in the age of technology.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. So usually boys, they physically bully. So like you said, it's that usually that dynamic of, I'm bigger than you. I can exercise power over you, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take your lunch money. You see the image on television. I'm going to stuff you in a trash can kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not funny at all, but that's usually just like the cliche image. But then with girls, it's verbal. It's emotional. And it's cyber. And so you talked about electronics and technology. You have young women who are, again, gossiping about folk on Twitter. sending mass texts about folks via their cell phone, taking, kind of exploitative pictures of people that they want to quote unquote bully and sending them out in a mass. So a parent can actually not be aware this is going on at all, unless, again, we're checking the technology. If we're, going back on the cell phone records, we're looking at the text. What is my child sending back and forth? And as you know, this is deadly.
Yeah.
This is not like a joke. This is not, people have literally killed themselves because they were actually taunted online, taunted emotionally, and taunted verbally. So I think that we really need to be aware of the different ways that it actually transpires.
And as you pointed out to us when we just talk about this use of this technology in your last segment, you reminded parents that there are legal consequences,
Absolutely.
Sometimes federal legal consequences to the way that these images and these words are being sent out electronically.
Absolutely. We got to get clarity around that because, again, it's not just, she'll be all right, or, they'll be cool. I was taunted when I was a kid and I'm fine. No. Like, we got to slow that down.
Yeah.
And we got to start really being conscious about, again, and I also want to talk about, what disturbs me about, again, media bringing this back with reality television once again is that these are grown women.
Yeah.
Okay, modeling this behavior as if this is acceptable for what women are supposed to be doing. And I think that's the more damaging piece because, again, you'll find that it's older and older. People are still bullying at 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, again, not only should parents be aware, but, again, we're talking about people being aware of the ways in which they try to exert power. That's the whole concept of bullying. Exert power over someone else.
Absolutely. I want to pause for just a second and play. This is a really quick clip that I happen to have on my iPod that I think is very relevant to what we're saying because you're talking about modeling. Mm. And, we always try to give love to Philadelphia area artists who are doing good things. Mm-hmm. And I've been so impressed by Pink and her evolution into womanhood because she is one of those young ladies who was headed down a really wrong path, but she was always very talented. Mm-hmm. And I think in her growth into womanhood, she's been reevaluating a lot of the bad behaviors that she had as a young person here in our area mm-hmm. and trying to present a different kind of critical thinking mm-hmm. to our young women. And so in this quote, she is talking about the competitive nature of pop music mm-hmm. and what she doesn't like to play into. So let's listen to this really quickly.
You can't compete with Rihanna and Katy Perry. Look at them. How do you compete with that? They're like 20 and new and hungry, and I'm like old. There's no competition in a game where everybody can win at the same time. There is no competition. It's everybody has their own thing, and the beautiful part about it is everybody can win. Like, you don't have to take away from somebody else to prop yourself up. Not in this game. Maybe in the Olympic sports, but not in music. Everybody can win.
I thought that was just, mm-hmm. That's a message mm-hmm. that our young women need to hear mm-hmm. consistently mm-hmm. because she recognizes that in this entertainment game, the ocean is big enough for there to be all kinds of beautiful fish.
Absolutely. But here's the interesting part. I think that we've been taught from a very early age that as a young woman, we have to compete.
Yeah.
So I agree 100%, and that message is dead on. You know what I mean? There's enough, right? Everybody can shine, and it actually, when you learn how to shine, you complement other shines, right?
Right.
So you become like a 5-point star altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how you learn that as you learn more about yourself. But I think that our culture, promotes. It's only one, fierce diva in the room. I'm the fiercest one in the room.
Right.
I'm the most beautiful. I'm the be on top.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the concept that you'll see consistently throughout culture, and you'll see consistently throughout media, just like she expressed. So I definitely celebrate that message at the same time, decoding and really kind of unpacking all the ways we've learned the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what we get. I wanted to move to solution because, we're all about solutions.
Absolutely.
And I think that, what I really want us to know is that, just like she said, it's really important for us to create, I call a sister system. I talk more about that in my new book. And the intention of the sister system is to be able to seek women specifically that you can lean on for emotional, physical support. And mental support. And I think that if we kind of approach women in that way, we as women approach other women in that way and teach our girls to approach young women in that way as a way to collaborate and not compete, then we can begin to start seeing more of the sisterhood support our growth as opposed to not supporting our growth.
Yes, I love that. And I think, different people apply this principle in different ways. One of the things that a lot of yoginis, of course, they use the word namaste, which means the God in me salutes the God in you.
Absolutely.
And I know that in a lot of women-centric programs that I've participated in, particularly in mentoring our young women as a guest speaker and what have you, we recognize each other as goddesses. So that's the conversation that we have, which goes back to what you just said about the whole stars, right? Because if I acknowledge that I see divinity in you, then there is no competition. That just means your God shines in its way and my God shines in its way in me. And we are acknowledging that dual power, that dual beauty in one another in our exchanges. So that sister system is a very, very real thing. And that goes directly in the face of the, unfortunately, a lot of grown women that you will hear say, I don't have a lot of girlfriends. And the reasons why they don't have a lot of girlfriends, because they see it as competitive.
Or they've been wounded.
Yeah.
By their girlfriends. I mean, that's a reality, too, that a lot of women have been wounded by other women because, again, they wanted to have a support system and they wanted to actually be able to connect with them. But at the same time, because of all the things that we've been taught, because of some of the jealousy, which is real, the envy that's real, there's been a lot of hurt. And so that's another piece that needs to be unpacked. But I want to say this last thing that I wanted to offer, to really be about making a change right now, because I'm about solutions right now.
Yes.
Not tomorrow, right now, is to begin to see the other woman as yourself. And I think that if you start to flip that, if you start to now, when you start to feel, because that's real, jealousy is real, envy is real, it's a human emotion. So if we can own that, we can look at, okay, so how can I act now overcome it? So if I see the next woman as myself, if I was in a situation, how would I want someone to treat me? I think that we will be able to start to shift it from this person outside of me who has no value to this person who is me that does have value.
Amen and amen. I'm shaking the verbal tambourine. Troy had it on cue today. And Lacey, make sure that you remind our listening audience where they can get more of this good idea, good wisdom, and invite you out to speak to their organizations or to speak to young women in their under their auspices, so that we can continue to spread this good message about empowering.
Thank you. Yes, phenomenally-u.com is the website. Phenomenally-u.com is the website, and the number is 913 self-love no E, 913 self-love no E. And then, of course, my new book, Phenomenally You, A Young Woman's Guide to Being Safe, Smart, and Successful in College.
Coming soon.
Yes, no doubt.
Oh, it's out? Oh, it's done.
Amazon right now. You can get it. You can download it to your iPad, your iPhones, your smartphones. You can actually send it as a gift to their iPhones and their iPads.
Aha. So that means that people need to go online and search for Amazon?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Need to go search for it, download it, and spread the word.
Yep. Lacey C. Clark is the name you're looking for.
Indeed. Lacey Clark, thank you so much for our weekly contributions, and we look forward to continuing this conversation with you again next Thursday.
Yes. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Take good care.